Yo, 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 it's Reverse Polarity, episode 33. I had to check again today. But
Yeah.
it's me, your boy HifiVega, joined, as always, by the man who never sleeps, the guy who's built entirely out of zip ties and tech flex, the man who once said, do or do not. There is no try. What's up, Dean?
I've said that more than once.
Yeah,
I
I, I
used,
was I was looking for quotes. What would fit good with a Star Wars quote that says
oh yeah.
Dean to me? That quote
So
says Dean.
I used to say that one to Haley all the time. She just gets so ticked at me. And then the other one of my personal favorites that took me years to kind of put it all together was, there's a conversation that Ben Kenobi has with Luke Skywalker where he says, you know, in Star Wars, the original New Hope, when he says, where he betrayed and he says Vader betrayed and murdered your father, Anakin Skywalker. And then they have the conversation later at Dagobah when he's a ghost, and he's like, you told me that Vader killed my father, and he does the whole speech and he says, yes, so it's true from a certain point of view. And I was like, damn, that's freaking deep. That's one of those, like, Luke has had to think about that one for a minute, and like that was an intentional, like, you're gonna glass over it, but as you go back and think about it, it's like, man, there are so many things in life that, though seem false at first, are true depending on your point of view.
Right.
And that just, that kind of resonated with me, as it's like, words that we use that don't actually have meaning anymore. And like one of those is never. That's never going to happen. And we all know that never is becoming an increasingly shorter period of time. It's like never. Okay, so there's still a chance.
Yeah. So you're saying there's still a chance.
Yeah, so they're saying there's still a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, the last 2 years have proved that never is not the finite answer we all grown up thinking that it was. We know that with never, hey, look how fast it happened.
It's
so,
not likely now, or maybe not even not likely.
Like not likely is the same as never. It's like I don't think there's a word to describe to replace never. It's like there's infinite chances and possibilities. There's a 1 in 1 billion chance. Well, it's still a 1 in 1 billion, man. Huh? Sign me up. It's no worse than the lottery. Hey, there he is, Scott. What's up, man?
Yeah, finishing a wall build, man. That's intense.
I talked to him earlier this week. I think it was this week. I was talking with the admin or the creator of CE Outlook, who we steal all our news from. I was talking with her, and she was asking me. She's like, do you know any? You got any news? Do you have anything? And I'm like, I mean, we steal it from you, so I mean,
well, it's the least you could do. If you could tip her off to a little bit of news, I mean.
Yeah, so I was like, I had just watched the interview you guys had done with him on Power Hog, and I was like, hey, there's this new company that just started up called Power Hog. If you want, I can give you the guy's name. So I'm like opening my phone real fast and Scott and this other guy. Sorry. I said they just started this company, but yeah, reach out to them and see, it might be an interesting story. So I guess she reached out to them. So that's pretty cool. And there's Kip. Great interview the other night, Kip. Good job. I liked it. Scott Campbell. Super.
I gotta go back and watch this overtime.
I gotta finish watching it. I didn't get through the whole thing, but I have this window of opportunity from like when I'm done running while I'm in the shower to when I'm done with dinner, that it's like this 15-minute window of like I can watch something. Yeah. And it's like I try to pick wisely, and I really wanted to watch the Scott Campbell interview. So I fast forward to the beginning because
you don't do intros.
Well, no, the comedy part of it just was. I wanted to get to the meat and potatoes because I know it was going to be a great story, and like the story that he's one of the founding guys of Rockford, and if nobody has watched this, get past the beginning where they're doing their little banter, which it's funny, but move past that and get to the actual interview, and which you can see when you're scrubbing, because Scott will be gone and then it'll appear back. And then watch that, because it's some great stuff. I mean, Derek said last night it was great old school stuff, but I mean, it's just, years ago when we started doing the live show on Facebook, we brought in guests anytime we could get anyone guests on. And the whole idea behind that was to help people understand that there's more to car stereo than your shop in your town and that sales guy or that installer. There's this whole infrastructure of people that are behind them, and we wanted to show people that. And so, I mean, even back then, 6, 7, 8 years ago when we started, that was the goal, was to introduce people to the rest of the car audio world. Now, of course, fast forward today, it's getting a lot better. But we had on a bunch of those guys, and Steve Irby was one of the interviews we did, which was hilarious, because kicker is everyone there is just they're last minute people, man. There are some last minute people, in their heads, they're not they are on point, they know a week before, but man, letting that's some last minute stuff. Because I mean, I
can verify this.
I literally found out I was interviewing Steve Irby 3 days before I got there, and I'm just okay, because I had no backstory, I had nothing, and you know me, I gotta know something. I gotta go in there with some kind of knowledge, whether it's a product, whether it's a person. I gotta know something. Right. And here he is, the biggest guy we'd ever interviewed, and it's 3 days before, and I am just scouring the internet trying to find anything I could about Steve Irby. And because it's oh yeah, I own Kicker. Okay, well, what else is the story there? So there was nothing. There was nothing to be had anywhere, except for he did an interview on a Christian YouTube channel or podcast or something like that, or Catholic Christian. I always get those wrong. The double C's, and religious podcast, and 100% baby. And he did this wonderful interview on that, and I was it was a 20-minute interview. So I sat there and I just and took notes, and I watched it 4 times, so that when I talked to him, I would at least have a clue or be able to cue him up with the next question. And I thought it was wonderful. I looked like a giddy little schoolgirl doing the interview, because I was just this is so cool. The only other time the only other guy that I was really happy to meet was Jesus, and his name just was in my head.
Sam, every podcast.
Sam Taylor, the owner of Orion. The owner of Orion.
The original?
The original. No, the original. The original owner. The poster in your back wall there. Yeah. That guy. That was I met him. This was long after he had anything to do with Orion. But those magazines of him, if you look, it says letters from the owner or letters from whatever, and it was always him, Sam Taylor, writing about whatever it was. And the reason why those things got made, those comic book characters got made, was because that was a friend of his. It was either a friend of his son or something like that. And he was they were yeah, we'll help the guy out. And so they created those little comic book things.
Yeah, I mean, those were actually one of the coolest things to come out of old school car audio.
I have the whole set.
Rockford done something, didn't he?
I
think Rockford does something, but yeah, the little comic book series was totally awesome. That's why I was lucky to pick that piece up.
No doubt.
Byron Chambliss, what's up, man? Appreciate it totally.
You the man. But yeah,
man, you know what I didn't do this week? I did
put up a poll.
Put up a poll.
That's okay.
I'm slipping, man.
No, you had a busy week. I mean, it's gonna happen. And then you're going on vacation next week.
Yeah. So no RP next week.
Yeah, none of this. No reverse polarity and no side jag. Yeah. So that's
Wait, have you watched anything this week?
Yes.
Anything good? Should we save it for side jag? That's
Yeah, let's save it for side jag. I got to think about it because I'm trying to. I know what I'm watching tomorrow, but that's a whole nother thing. But no, anyways, I was saying I got to meet Sam Taylor. He came into the store one day. I don't remember what he was repping at the time or selling at the time. I don't even know why he was there, but they came in and they said, we'd like you to meet Sam Taylor, and I was like the Sam Taylor? I'm like, you're like Sam Taylor's, like the guy that used to own Orion, Sam Taylor. And he goes, he was a weird dude. He was a little off. Like he wasn't like he was a little off at this point. And I was like, he's like, yeah. And I was like, no kidding. Like, dude, I'm a super fan. I have all your magazines. Like they're right next door. I mean, I totally like, because I was like, this is so neat. Dean was excited to meet you, goats, Bobby. Dude, we were scared to death. What are you talking about? Excited? Bobby's like, I'm picking you up at the airport. And we're like, no, I'm picking you up at the airport. Okay. I remember
he was going through my neighborhood, and the stupid overtime got me again. We weren't able to meet up.
Sucks. Yeah. But it was funny because he drove around once, and friend goes, I think he just went by. He's got a Ram, right? I said, yeah. And he's a big guy, isn't he? I said, yeah, he looks like a big guy. He goes, yeah, that was him. There's somebody else in the car. And I was like, well, they maybe need a second person to dig the hole. I mean, I don't know.
Or there's two of you, so they need one for each one.
Yeah,
takes each one of you.
But it was his wife, and his daughter was in the back. And dude, his poor daughter, she had this it was like where it's like me and Fernando and her daughter. But it was a great time. I mean, he's the nicest family ever. I mean, it was so cool. We had a blast. I mean, it was so much fun. Can you imagine if you
picked up me and Derek? How that backseat would have went?
Oh no, that would not been possible. That would have not been possible. Preemptive donation. Yeah, the night's early. The night is early. That is for sure.
The night is young.
The night is young. I wanted to say last night, one of the things you guys were talking about irritating things in car audio, and I typed it in there. One of the things that irritates me is when people say, hey man, can you tune my car? And you're like,
yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, sure. What do you have? Well, I have this amp and that amp.
That DSP.
What do you want? What do you want me to tune? You want me to set your gains?
Yeah.
Setting your gains is not tuning your car. Okay. Tune my amps. I'm like, there's nothing to tune. It's like you want me to set your gains. I mean, I can set your gains. It's no big deal. Can you tune my amps?
that happens quite often. People that are enthusiasts.
Yeah,
that's what tuning is, setting your gains.
Yeah, setting your gains is tuning. And it's like, and it was funny too, because I had somebody point that out to me because it just never really bothered me. I just let it kind of like roll off my head. And and the one guy just was like, God, that irritates the shit out of me. And I was like, what? When people ask you to tune their stuff, there's nothing to tune. And I'm like, slow down, killer. And he's like, no, there's literally nothing to tune. What if you have to set a crossover? Okay, still not tuning it. I was like, all right. So I actually did have a guy.
He put the seed in there. That's why.
Yeah, it's tuned. I had a guy this week where I actually did have to tune his car. And I was like, so I go out there. I'm like, he's like, I have a DSR1. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, because one of those Dean can't tune fish. I like tuna. All right, so one of the things I always think about, okay, sorry, we'll get back to that. Tuna fish and egg salad. Yeah. Okay. To me, they kind of fall in that same category of like nothing you would ask for, but you wouldn't say no. You know what I mean? It's not like you're going, damn, I'm like, to me, they're almost like the same headache. It's like, hey, we have tuna. Is that it? All right, I'll take a tuna. All right, we have egg salad. Is that it? Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah.
I've been on an egg salad kick, but overall, I do agree with this.
Yeah, it's not like you walk in a restaurant and go,
yeah,
they have egg salad. Shit. Oh my God.
I've been wanting egg
salad.
Forever.
Excuse me. Come here. This says egg salad. Is it good? No, but the tuna is.
Yeah.
I didn't even see that. Oh my God. Next thing you know, you're going to tell me a bread pudding. Tell me a bread pudding. No.
Nobody likes the Tuna here.
Yeah, exactly.
I was waiting. I was like, yeah, this is gonna kick. It's just gonna take a little bit.
Nope. Yeah, it was a good one.
I do have something good to start the show off with.
Okay,
I came
let's
up with
go.
it on the fly. Can you give me 3? And this is car audio adjacent. Can
Okay.
you give me 3 songs that say Dean Bayette?
Oh shit! Wow, dude, you're gonna love The Boring Life of Dean and Haley this week.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
I must have.
You're totally gonna love that
read
one.
your mind.
Oh my god, you read Haley's mind. My mind was totally freaking blank. So that all right, that's a tough one because like exactly.
Yeah.
Music is like I'm not like over the top music guy. Like I don't so like in my mind when I'm running and I'm listening to music, like I try to play that music, not the music video that they made, because I don't watch music videos, because to me watching a music video totally destroys the song, because that's all you think about when you hear the song. So like MTV to me destroyed destroyed a lot of music. Thank God as I gotten older, I forgot most of the music videos, so I can just go back to enjoying the music. But I like disconnecting and thinking of the song, so it's like
it's almost like reading a book versus watching a movie.
Yeah, you get to create your own characters, and like if you read Harry Potter before you saw the first Harry Potter, and then you saw the first Harry Potter, you're like, oh, that's
not
different.
what I thought they looked like.
Yeah, that got really weird really fast. And then when because like I read like the first 3 books of Harry Potter before the movies came out, and it was like, yeah, but then after you saw the movies, every character from there just kind of like morphed in, like you took the creative away from it. Yeah,
it's the movie forever.
Yeah, it's like when you're reading the book, it's like what it all looks like. So it's like it took that fantasy away from it, which some people like.
Yeah.
But as far as songs go, it's like I'm a big Van Halen fan. So like almost anything by Van Halen is just like, yeah, I can dig it. Like I have a list of just like all Van Halen songs, and I will just rock the Van Halen songs.
Like Van Hagar?
All of it. I don't care. The only stuff I don't like is the latest, when they got the 3rd new guy. I never got into that. I was like, I'm out. Like 2 is good, 3, no. So like anything with Van Halen was always like I could sit there and like just go through every song, and I've listened to every song so much that it's just like, oh, I remember that moment. Like I can hear a song and go, oh, dude, you remember when we were in Michigan when we were teenagers and we were driving, and Sue would just look at me like, why are you? Because this is the song that was playing. And she'll be like, you're mental. And I'll be like, no, I mean, that's just what it is. I like the Spice Girls. Who doesn't like the Spice Girls?
Yeah, spice up your life.
Tell me what I want, what I really, really want. I'll tell you what you want, what you really want. I want to
So there's got to be like a Sir Mix-a-Lot song, right, in the Dean soundtrack, or no? Is Sir Mix-a-Lot out of here?
I don't really. So I always think of it as like walk-up music. So like if I'm getting ready to do a so there's
a fist fight Fernando and the cage is set and you're walking in.
So there was a Tom Cruise Collateral. Did you ever see the movie Collateral Damage with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx? Jamie Foxx was a taxi cab driver.
Yep.
And Tom Cruise was the assassin that flew into the day. There's a scene in that movie where he goes into a nightclub and has to assassinate this Japanese guy. And like, I love that song because they framed that shot exactly how I would have framed it, where it was like, a lot of John Wick is kind of shot like that, where it's like, this guy is here to kill some others. And like, the angles are perfect. And it's just like the focus, and like bitches are going to fall. And so sometimes when I'm thinking of music, I look at it like, it's like, okay, because I don't have any of that music where it's like, oh my God, I was listening to that the other night. And, oh my God, it took me to that place. I don't have that. Haley laughed because she's like, you have no emotions. You have no tear ducts. I do too. I got dirt in it the other day and I cried. It's like, shut up. So you know, I like to think of it like, would this be a cool song to drive to? Would this be a cool song? Like, if I'm getting ready to go up and teach a class, like, you know, and Fernando's on the mic going, here he is from Clearwater, Florida, the man you all know and love to see, the guy you're here to listen and talk to for the next half hour, Dean Bayette from 5 Star Car Stereo Smashboard Production. You know, it's like, you know, and then like Eminence Front starts playing. You know, we're all like walking up in slow motion and shit, you know. Like, to me, that's like the dopest thing ever. That would be like, yeah, let's do that. But yeah, I don't really have like
I stumped you.
Yeah, I've never sat there and said, oh man, you know, Supertramp, Breakfast or whatever it is. Like every time I hear that, it just like pulls me.
Is there no song like 1990 Dean? Is there a song that just says 1990 Dean to you?
Oh, Sussudio for sure.
Oh, that's a pretty solid.
So that'd be like 86, 87 probably. Sussudio was like that summer when that song came out. Like that changed everything right there, because it was like that was kind of like that. Like I liked Phil Collins and Genesis before that, but when that song dropped, it was like, oh shit, like, you know, because that was when you had to wait to hear a song.
Yeah,
you know, so it was like
try to record it on your tape recorder, you know, play, record.
Yeah. It's like, shh, everyone, shut up. Studio's on. Studio.
But this, see, I'm asking you this question now because I figure for SciJag,
yes,
we should ask every guest, and maybe we could say ours tonight on SciJag, what 3 movies define you as a person? And I bet you have a better answer for that.
I mean, I have my 3 favorite movies. I have like my 3 favorite movies, and Star Wars is not one of them. Oh no, God no.
We could save that for SciJag though.
Yeah, no, we can totally save that for SciJag. But I mean, that's what we asked the guests though. We say, what are your 3 favorite movies? Which when Jeff Smith answers that, I knew you were gonna laugh your ass off because he had already answered that for me on a previous show. And I'm like, when he said Smoking the Bandit, I'm like, does this rub off? Is this fake? What is going on here?
Yeah,
I had to call him the other night, I had to call him the other day, and I said, because the car I had to tune was loudspeakers, and I'm just not versed in the loudspeakers. But one of his, like I had said last night, he gets paid to tune other stereo shops' cars, and one of those guys, they do big builds with lots of loudspeakers, so he's getting pretty proficient at tuning these giant walls of sound. And so I was like, all right, you know, I've done cars that have loudspeakers in them, but they're a mixture. I like to call it like a hybrid, where it's like they just have a set of loud tweeters, but everything else is normal. So those are easy enough to tune. But this was straight up, you know, we call them speaker by the pound. So this was straight up speaker by the pound, 6.5, 8, and a giant, you know, tweeter in the dash. And I was like, so I call up and I said, yes, may I speak with Ghetto Jeff? And he's like, pardon me? I said, yes, I'm calling to speak with Ghetto Jeff. And he was like, hold on, I'll see if he's here. No, he's not here right now. Would you like to leave a message? Yes, tell him that Dean is here and he's trying to tune a speakers by the pound car and he has some questions for him. Yeah. And he's like, hold on. I'll see if I can find him for you. Yeah.
That's got to be, I can imagine how that would be. Because don't they usually pass those over at like 125 hertz or something like that?
You know, it's weird. It's just weird. It just depends, like what you have going on. You know, this was one of those things where this was a father-son build, and they did a fabulous job. Like they knocked it out of the park. It was a single cab Ram, had 4 Sundown shallow mount 12s. And this thing was like a beast. And so it was just a big wall behind the back seat. And then he had 3 the Pioneer amplifiers. So he had 2 of the big monos and then the 4-channel. And the 4-channel, channel 1 and 2 is powering the tweeters up in the top of the dash, and then 3 and 4 were powering a set of 6.5s and a set of 8s. And you know, those tweeters, they're like 107 dBs of efficiency. Okay. Yeah. And they are just like when you look at those on an RTA, the tweeters are doing this, and then the mid range is somewhere around here.
Yeah.
You know, and it's okay.
It's hard to get your little 2 to 3 dB roll off with those tweets, I imagine.
You just need to pull them down. Just pull them down. just start pulling them down. You know, they're still going to be loud. Like we were, you know, I had them 10 dBs less loud than the mid range, and they were still the loudest thing in the car. But, you know, I wanted to have it so he could at least sit in there and enjoy whatever it was he was trying to listen to. Because like, I go, what do you listen to? He goes, I listen to country and techno.
Yeah.
Can you shave those tweeters? Definitely shave those tweeters.
You could have called me just like V pattern that sucker, man. Just V pattern. That's what he wants.
Oh, it was V pattern. There was no question about it. But we wanted the V's to be on the chart. You know, I'm on for the woo crane. But you know, you also need to hear some mid range.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, it was just trying to get that under control. And so we did what we thought he would like. And we went, you know, it was right at the end of the day. So I went out and I was like, all right, here you go. You know, and it's just like, it's so loud, man. It was so loud. They're just like, oh, this is it. This is what we were hoping for, man. No one has been able to do this. Cause they drove like an hour and a half to have me fix this nightmare.
Really?
And, oh yeah. And, he's like, yeah, dude, this is it. This is exactly what we wanted. And I was like, oh, cool. I mean, you know,
you're like, dude, like those subs in the back, those aren't going to ruin your hearing.
No,
but these tweeters right here.
Oh, they're going to make you go blind. Dude, trust me, when I got in there, I was like, what the? I mean, how can you even drive with these? You can't even see. That sound is so bright. It's hard to see. You know?
Got to wear sunglasses when you
listen to it. Yeah. Oh, God, it was rough. But no, we got it down to where it was, you know, nice. And it was interesting to just tune it, you know, but, you know, the DSR1, of course, immediately you have to just get in there and do a software update and figure out, because it's like one of the easiest DSPs to use, but also one of the hardest DSPs to use, because it's like, did you do the software updates? Yeah, you didn't. All right, yeah. We'll check it. Yeah, because it's like, oh,
I love software updates.
Everything has software updates now. I mean,
especially if it has to do with Windows.
so the
Windows
funny thing
is like
was
poison. I'm just gonna say it.
Oh, it is. So, and that okay. So back to the point of the conversation is one of the things that you have to be now as a car stereo installer is a computer admin. Like if you're not affluent in Windows or Mac or PowerPoint or software of any kind, like if you can't work a computer, you're going to suck as an installer, because like it's becoming to the point where everything needs a software update. Everything needs a software update, whether it's a basic amplifier all the way up to just a $179 CD player needs some form. It's going to need a software update. They all need software updates. And to me, like what, you know, the companies that spend the time to make things Windows and Mac compatible, they're the winners in my book. Like those guys go, all right, like we're going to go the extra step. And everyone that you talk to, like for example, like JL Audio is Windows and Mac compatible. So they don't care. Audio Control, Windows and Mac compatible and iPad compatible. JL just got on board with the iPod app that they just launched recently with their Bluetooth dongle. So they're doing the same thing Audio Control is. But if you're just Windows, the excuse is always the same. Well, you know, the Italians or the French or the Germans or whoever the hell it is, you know, they don't have a lot of Apple use in their country. And I'm like, so what you're trying to say is one of the largest computer companies on the face of the earth, Apple, no penetration whatsoever. So the number one selling phone on the face of the earth, no penetration whatsoever in those countries. Yeah. So they're a billions of dollar company because of the Americans?
Yeah.
Hold on. I smell something. Hey, that's horse shit. that's horse shit for sure. If you're a modern tech company and you're developing for Windows and Windows only, you're an idiot. Plain and simple. You have to develop for both because people are using both. And
Right.
and and it's fine to be whatever camp you want to be in. Like if you're a Windows user, if you're an Android user, I'm perfectly okay with that. But look to your left and look to your right. Chances are good that the guy sitting next to you is not, okay? Because it's just how it is. And there again, you have to develop for Android, you have to develop for iPhone. You don't have to, but it's a good idea. And I say it because we're not developing for Android. But I'm sorry, Android guys, we're just not.
So, contrary to
My bitch.
Installer Dean's beliefs, he will not be entering
Well,
the.
no, I will not be entering the Android marketplace. Sorry, I'm trying. We tried, but it was like, how much more? No, we're not going to do that. We'll stick with our closed walled garden. But my point is there again, I'm also not a $1 billion company or $1 million, $100 million company, or however millions of dollars these companies have. I'm not that guy. I'm lowly dealing the installer, so I have a finite amount of money. But the problem is as an installer, we have to be fluent with all these. I mean, a DSR1, you have to do the Rockford update on your Windows machine, and then you can also do the iData update on it, but I don't bother to update the iData on my Windows machine because it's just a pain in the ass. And the only reason I would ever do that is just for the Rockford. So I literally pull out the Windows machine, flash the Rockford update, close the Windows machine, plug it into my Mac, and then flash it there with the other stuff. And it's just like, why are you doing that? Because I hate this. I hate this with passion. However, like when we're doing audio control, up until the most recent update, when Mac sucked for the audio control, it would work fine, but saving it out would create a weird file that was not working right. So they've since fixed that, of course, which is really nice. But so we use the Windows machine for the DSP, and we use the Mac machine for the RTA. So that, we have both going at the same time. And that way, all our saves are in the same place, which is really why we do it that way. Because I can just, like, if you say I had my system installed in March of whatever, I can go and like, here it is. And I can reflash the amplifier to whatever it was doing.
Yeah, surely they've changed it since now and then.
Yeah. What did Kip say?
Wait.
He says, what did he say? Oh, I'm literally drinking a twisted tea. So I like tea, not that kind. But yeah, so I mean, you have to be semi-computer savvy. If you're not, you're going to suffer. I mean, I laugh because, like, prime example today, we started a new project, and for first part of the day, it was like I was on the computer designing the tweeter pods, designing the logos. Tomorrow I'll be back on it because I'll have to build the fuse holder mount panel, and we're going to make a logo for the box. And so all these things have to get done, and if you don't have a computer or the basic skills of design, well, then you can't do that. And my knowledge on design is like this. There's a couple guys that I know that are building like CAD designing the whole interior of the car, and they just go on a 3D CNC machine. And it's like, you guys freaking suck. Like, wow. You're sitting there and it's like, yeah, we just milled this, and you're going, God damn, how do you even compete with that? You're not you're not in the car audio business. Get out of here. You're in Hollywood stuff. Just go away. My God, it's like there are interior shops that also put in car stereo. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Well, even from the DIY, like if you're messing with a PAC TR12, it's pretty simple once you understand what you're doing. But if you have no idea how a computer works, and it might be quite a chore for you to program that.
Well, and the other thing too is, honestly, PAC software is shit.
Yeah. Well, it looks like 1980s. The Oregon Trail could be played on the software that time.
Yeah, and that was the funny thing was, so this week we were doing we were doing a Toyota something. I already forgot. And we're doing a Tacoma, a JBL system, and it's the new AP4 TY13 Mark II, which is a new harness they just came out with for it. And so where it gets funny is the only difference between the Mark I and the Mark II is the harness. So when you go onto the website, it says there's an update. Okay, so like it's 2.1.9 or 2.9.1 or it's some stupid thing like that. And I go, holy shit, I'm on 1.8.4. Oh my, I was like, oh crap, I gotta do a software update. And then it says software update is for harness only. And you're like, what does that mean? What does that mean? It's not a software update. It's just no, this camera. So I'm sitting there and I'm trying to download the file, and I'm like, so finally I called Jeff and I'm like, dude, I'm trying to download this file because this is what mine is. And he's like, wait a minute, there's an update? I'm like, this is what it says. He goes, wait a minute, hold on. He goes, I think I know what this was, is that we did an update that is just for the harness. So we put a software update number for a harness. And I go,
instead of a product number.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. He goes, yeah, so you're not getting a file, right? I'm not getting a file. He goes, yeah, you're fine. It's up to date. And I was like, I've been screwing this for 20 minutes.
You just think confident thing like, thanks, Jeff.
Yeah. Well, it's not his fault. I know, I'm not blaming him. I'm just like, God damn
He's
it.
the one you talk to, though. He's the one you talk to. So thanks, Jeff.
Well, yeah, no, I was just thankful that he straightened that shit out because that was like the dumbest thing ever. The store had to expense an iPhone because the installer and the bay use Android, and making testing when customer's phone is an issue. See you at K-Fest. Oh, yeah, no doubt. That was 100%. That's one of the things that we always kid ourselves about was we need an Android phone because no one in the store uses Android. And anytime we have an issue, it's always something with Android. And I was like, I don't want to buy an Android phone. And so I was like, you know what? Go for it, Paul. If you're having, if the spirit so moves you, go for it. But like we bought one years ago when we were doing all the unboxings and we were showing Android Auto. We bought a cheap Android phone just so we could have Android Auto pop up on the screen.
Yeah.
And then it was like, eventually it just got so old, then we stopped doing those. And now everybody knows what Android Auto looks like, so I don't really have to go into it. It's like it has Android Auto. Yeah. Moving on. I don't have to spend 20 minutes going, and here's your button for this, and here's your button for that.
But I've had 4 or 5 Android phones, but the problem is I only had Android phones when they were terrible, like in HTC One days. So I don't know what new Android's like.
There she is.
Yeah.
Chrissy C. Hey, cutie pie.
Dean, appreciate it.
Hey, baby. I'm being you talking to him. I'm not talking to you that way.
No,
I'm talking to Hi-Fi. I'm pretending
It's like this little ASMR.
I'm doing a really bad job of what you might say to Hi-Fi. Hey.
Yeah. What's going on? Wink.
I can't wink for shit.
You can't Kip, give us a virtual wink real quick. Kip's a good winker.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a very good. Have you never watched any Kicker live stream in your life?
Not when he's winking, and most of the time I'm not looking at the picture.
That's basically all he does is wink.
Talking in the background. Hey,
his sound bites are winks.
We're coming out with a DSP. Not. There might be a key DSP one day, maybe. No, we're not.
Oh Lord! All right, what's the next?
Your class at K-Fest. Yes, that's another thing. You gotta be willing to talk to people. So this is what I really thought about. Something that a lot of installers just absolutely suck at. And thank you for signing up for the class, by the way. It hopefully will be a wonderful time. It usually is. But is common sense. All right. And I know you're going, wait a minute. What are you talking about? We all have common sense. We all have common sense, but in the regards of what our world is comprised of. Like, I'm not an auto mechanic. I know nothing of auto mechanic whatever you'd say. Like but I understand the concept behind the systems in the car. I might not be able to diagnose a problem, but I have a basic working knowledge of how the car is functioning and the pieces in it and how they need to work. And having that common sense about the vehicle, you don't have to be like a full-on, whatever, have the patch guy and be like, I know everything there is to know about drivetrain. That's cool. But to do car audio, you really don't need to know that, but you need to have a working knowledge of how that stuff works, because when you run into a problem, or when you're designing something, or when you're trying to put something in a car, that common sense is kind of what makes you not make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's like that moves.
Yeah.
Don't put
Or
anything by that because
yeah.
it moves. That
Don't
shit,
chill right here. This is the main factory wiring harness.
yeah, that stuff is, I don't know, flammable. Don't run a wire by that. It's like, I can't tell you, like on an F-250, there's like this reservoir for a highly flammable brake fluid that is
Yeah.
connected to the battery, which is dumb. But a CCA wire that's laid right across it and burning into it, and you're going, oh my God, this was days away from kissing this F-250 goodbye. Holy shit. There he is, Mr. Fro's house. Can't wait. We're getting close. We got another 20 minutes and we'll be over there talking about Foot Fist Way. So I feel one of the most important things is just having a general working knowledge of a vehicle. Not being a full-fledged mechanic, but just understanding the parts of how it all functions, how it all goes together, why certain systems might not like what you're doing. And like at least understanding that, like, how a data bus system works. The yellow loom is dangerous. And yes, anything yellow period is dangerous. So in the SL 500s, SL 300s, Mercedes Benz, there's yellow tube all throughout the car for the vacuum lines. Everything is vacuum line controlled. Everything is vacuum line controls. The tops, the locks, they're everywhere. And I think I've told you the story before where we had a guy come in. He had an SL 500 that tried to put an alarm in it, and they probed all the vacuum lines. He's like, I don't know what they did, but nothing works in the car. I can't get the door to lock. I can't get anything to work. I said, does it go? He goes, yeah, I hear a little bit of that. I go, they probed all the vacuum lines. What do you mean? And I opened the back and I'm like, hole. They didn't just probe one. They probed them all. I'm like, have a nice day.
This has 0 volts. What's going on?
Yeah. It's why is there air coming out of this now? I don't understand. Why is there's not air coming out of this one? Chrissy is on point, man. I'm telling you. Chrissy. Let's not ever do a meetup. That's all I gotta say. Never do a meetup. He's happily married, but he is adorable. Baby face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm shaving tomorrow, so it's a little red because I'm buying a new adapter because I'm tired of this saturation. But yeah.
I mean, mine looks a little jaundiced, so either way, and I got a white light cooking on me right here. So could also be, lack of oxygen. I don't know. Anyways, probing vacuum. Oh yeah, it does. So, but yellow denotes airbag. So for those of you guys don't know, anything with a yellow connector or yellow loom. Orange, if you see orange now, orange means hybrid system. So if you see anything with a big orange loom over it, don't screw with that unless you want to get electrocuted. So, orange is hybrid. Now, this is where it gets funny because some of the cars aren't playing fair. They're putting yellow loom over shit that's not supposed to have yellow loom over. It's like they didn't get the memo, or they got the new guy there. And
why would you have standard? Why would you have standards?
Why would you have standards and not use them? I know, douchebags.
Yeah.
So yeah, you never go in anything that has any yellow tape over it, yellow loom. And the easiest way to get like if you've never seen it before, look underneath your seat if it has an airbag in it. There'll be a big yellow connector. That's the one you don't want to touch. If you have to disconnect it, pull the battery. And there again, it kind of falls back to the basic systems in a car. Like if you pull understanding and tracking what cars. Like anytime you read and you have to know how to read. I'm gonna just stop right here. If you can't read, you cannot be an installer. Just stop.
I don't think you can live in 2021 if you can't read. We're such a digital world now. Text. No one talks on the phone. You're in a bad shape right now.
Yeah, but like, have you read any of these texts that these kids send out? They're not. It's not English.
No, I have 2 of them. I know.
It's like acronym shit.
Yeah.
It's like Okay, we're eating a bowl of Campbell's soup and they're talking to each other with the letters they scoop out. PFC2. Q745. C4 times there. You're like, hey, fuck, what the hell are you guys talking? You didn't get that? So Dad looks like a moron. It's like,
it's half the time they're talking about something on TikTok that you've never seen, but everyone else is laughing. It's like, okay, I didn't see it.
All right, Dean, what if you don't want to read? You don't. I mean, let's be honest. It's nobody wants to read, but the bookshelf doesn't.
Oh, this comes with instructions.
The bookshelf behind me does no justice, because what you can't see is all the books over here.
Yeah.
Before I got into this YouTube thing, I read everything I could get my hands on. So there's stacks of books like old guys all over the floor in here. It's just ridiculous.
I love how directly behind you the shelf is under load of a Star Wars tchotchkes.
Yes. Yeah.
And you need a brace in that one, I think.
It just all needs to come out. So if you look, we were talking about Van Halen earlier. If you look at this is an RC10 all-wheel drive TC3, and the paint job on it is Eddie Van Halen's guitar. So it's the red, white, and black stripes.
Oh,
So because, like I said, I'm a big Van Halen fan. Like iPad cover was that. Every time I made art, there's the original. That is the original RC10, the gold pan. That's right there. That's the original RC10 right there with the gold pan. Installs for 25-year veterans to burn the shop down. Well, did you see the video where the guy let the car burn the shop down? The Land Rover that caught on fire?
No.
Did you see that?
No.
No one sent you that video? I know someone here's got to have that video to send him. I don't remember who sent it to me, but it's literally they had a Discovery in the bay, and the center console caught on fire, and they were like trying to put it out instead of just like, I don't know what, I guess they didn't have a fire extinguisher in that country, and it ended up burning the whole bay to the ground.
Freaking, let me tell you something. I know you probably know this. Land Rover's electrical systems are the worst in history.
So I know this is going to be weird, but a side jag.
Oh man, hold up. We can't deviate from the plan here.
So when I worked at AVE, my boss and I, his dream car was a Corvette. Oh my God, I'm getting a Corvette. Every day he would come with the catalog and have it sitting on our desk, open to the page of his Corvette that he had on order. Okay. And like, this was like, oh my God, it's coming. I worked hard all my life so I can own a Corvette and some Adidas shoes. And so we go to, I met him at the Chevy dealership one day, and right next to our Chevy dealership was the Land Rover dealership. And he's like, I've always wanted to check these things out and see what they're all about. So, okay. So we walk over there, and, this was probably 95, 96, just to give it some time frame. So some of you weren't born. Like we go in there because these are the Cadillacs of SUVs, so we hop in there and we're like, everything's kind of loose, and like the gauge cluster you can do this thing with. And we're like, these are crap. Like, who would want to own one of these? Like, do the British not know how to make cars? Tata didn't own them yet. And it was like, oh my God, this is such garbage. And the fast forward to the last car I had to build while I was there was a freaking Land Rover for a friend of his. And it was like, that was like the last big build I did before I had to leave, which we did the video on. That was one with like the 4 Rockford subwoofers in the back and the big 2500 on the floor. That was in the Dean's Classic Car Stereo clips where I found a lot of the videos of the old stuff I did. Yeah. That was that Fernand and I went and talked about. Base fan. I don't want to join. I can't even build the car I have, let alone build a van. What are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I think Nando is 38. We were talking about that the other day. I think he's 38. I'm just picking on him because he's almost 40. So, because I'll be 49 next week.
Dude,
So
you have to quit cardio when you're 50 is what I heard.
I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Had
What
to
are you
be.
going to do? Add into the swear jar? Appreciate it, Kip. Christy sent us what's that, a goat? A little puppy? Something?
I think it's a goat.
Yeah, I think it's a goat.
It's a
Greatest
goat.
of all time, Dean.
You are no, that's you, baby.
I don't know.
That's
Dude.
you.
I'm not great at nothing except interrupting people. I'm very good at interrupting people.
Are you?
Yeah.
If
I want to be.
I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, so we got computers, we got reading, and why reading is important. It obviously, if we hadn't figured out why reading is important, is that a lot of these dash kits now are not easy. They're becoming more and more difficult, and you have to be able to kind of pay attention to what the hell is going on. And though the pictures are quite good, there's always that, like, do this step first. This step first. If you don't do this step first, none of this shit is going to work. Like, Metro is great at that. It's like, listen, okay, the first thing is please read all these instructions before attempting. This is a timed thing. And it's like, oh, shit. As soon as I read that, I'm like, oh, crap. So I will sit there for 5 minutes and read it like 4 times just to make sure that, like, I'm getting what they're saying. And then even while I'm doing it, I'm reading it again. And then, of course, it's like, yeah, it was actually, it's funny that you should mention this. That it's funny that Sue said that. We went to high school together, and we both sucked at reading apparently, because in college we had to take reading again in college.
Yeah.
And that was how we actually met, because even though we went to high school together, same grade, same school, same everything, we had mutual friends, we knew each other. We were not on the same friends thing. Like, we had mutual friends. Like, I was friends with her boyfriend. And like, I had classes with her, but it wasn't until reading class that we were like, we were the only 2 people in there that, like, we knew each other. So she sat next to me, or I sat next to her. I don't remember how it went. And that's why we got, it's like why we started dating and whatnot. So if it wasn't for reading, I would not be married. Haley would not be here today. Apparently, I didn't read the book on how to not have kids.
Yeah, Haley wouldn't be here today to roll her eyes at all your jokes.
Kip says, do you ever read the instructions and wonder who the hell wrote those instructions? Yes, I do. And when we were on wonderful speaking terms with Amp, they would actually pre-release the instructions to me so that I could go through them, because they know how thorough I am. And I would go through them, and I would just be like, all right, who do I need to talk to? Because these suck.
These suck.
Like, okay, if you're going to reference something on page 3, make sure there's a page 3. It's like...
Yeah. See, I always have my wife read the instructions when we're working on building a project, IKEA furniture, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And then I complain about the way she's reading the instructions the whole time and try to do it my own way anyways.
She doesn't like to help me because I'm not. All right.
I mean,
there's a chief.
I think 25 hertz is onto something here.
So why married? Oh, I ask that question all the time. Like, I totally ask that question all the time. I mean, it's 25, 26 years now. I ask that question all the time. I'm like, was it for Star Wars? I mean, what? I mean, it wasn't my award-winning personality, that's for sure. I mean, come on.
It might have been the beeper. Did you have a beeper back then?
I had a green and gray beeper. Hell yeah, baby! I was rocking the Mitsubishi Eclipse, bro.
You were cool as hell.
Oh, it was totally cool. Yeah, but no, yeah, instruction manuals suck. This is just going to be the Sue show. Yeah. I got nothing.
Oh man, I guess we could finish with what's been going on. What are you doing? I
I'm
seen
trying.
you.
Yeah,
I seen you put the Morel Virtus. What was that in the Avalon?
that's the Avalon. That's
Yeah,
the series we have going right now. I'm trying to apparently make the longest Avalon video ever.
it was
Which
part 5 today.
yeah,
When it ended.
it's gonna go for a few more. I was yeah, we're gonna be probably rocking that in another week and a half on this one because we're not even close to done in the video. I'm like, wow. So yeah, it's gonna be a minute before we're done with that, but that was a fun one, So we had some time on that one, so we literally filmed every aspect of that car we could possibly think of, just to answer. The problem that we've run into is that our videos have gotten so in depth because we've always tried to answer every question we can, but the more questions we answer, the more questions people ask, and the more we go, okay, well, we need to focus on that, and we always try to give you more information than you need, just so that you don't have to ask the question. Because to me, that's the most important thing. Like, if I can just answer the question before you ask it, that's way better. So that's why these videos have gotten so long, because it's like we want to explain everything we're doing so that you can, it's like, all right, now I know why they did that, or this is why this is like that. Plus, in this one, like, we really wanted to get in depth with the wire ruler, and because we just haven't had time to like, most people can figure out how to use the wire ruler. I mean, we made it pretty simple. It's like, use it to drill holes, put zip tie through a hole.
Yeah.
But we wanted to, like, take the time to explain, like, why the wire ruler exists, what is the thought process behind it. If you can't figure out how to, like, here's how this works, this is why we do things the way we do things. Plus, like, explaining the process behind wiring an amplifier, like dividing it into the 3 sections of the amplifier kind of breaks up the monotony and also helps you understand, like, there's 3 sections to an amplifier. There's the input, the output, and the power. So when you're wiring it up, break it into those 3 sections, figure out where those things have to go, and it'll make your installation that much cleaner, as opposed to just hooking up wires and being like, does it work? Does it work?
Yeah, if you don't have a plan, the wire
Right.
routing is going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Believe me, speaking from experience.
Exactly. So the Avalon will continue on. It's going to be playing for a little while. Tomorrow, tomorrow's the news. So tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, we'll have the news on Dina Fernandez Car Stereo Clips. Saturday, we'll do the show there, and then no show on Monday because of the holiday. And then this show isn't. You're gone all next week on vacation.
Right. Yep.
So we won't have any shows next week on the channel. So Hi-Fi Network's taking the week off. So, and then Side Jag's just kind of no fun without you. So there's kind of no point in doing that. If I got to do that with Haley without you here, she'd be upset. So I wouldn't volunteer her for that.
Yeah, it would be the boring. Did I miss the boring life last week?
You did not miss the boring life last week. Our week was so boring. There was no boring.
No, there was no boring life.
It was, we spent the whole week just like, we worked in the garage the whole day. I was tearing down cabinets and putting in all new cabinets in the garage. So that was the whole day. The whole day was just like you said, reading instructions. Oh yeah,
that does suck. We should have went anyways, but it is. The kids want to do Star Wars
next year, bro. Next year. Check out Side Jag, Foot Fist Way, special guest from Stereo Queens. And that is coming up here in
like
16 minutes. So if you guys aren't familiar with it, head over to Side Jag here on YouTube.
I'm gonna drop a link in the chat right now.
There we go. And thanks everyone for playing with us this week. It's always been fun. And I think next week we'll actually try to get back to talking about more things about installers, because I did have a whole list. But as always,
it's just, sometimes it doesn't happen like we want.
I don't think it ever happens like we want.
Yeah, go ahead.
At least we're kind of talking about car stereo the whole show now. So, I mean,
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
everyone's happy about that. So side jag is alleviated a lot of the side jagness of this, and it's just more car stereo talk. So
More car stereo, but still nonsense. So you get a little bit of both.
yeah. So, all right. Well,
Yeah,
hell, you have a wonderful vacation. For those of you guys that aren't going to tune in side jag, shame on you, but it's been fun. We'll see you in a week.
yeah.
Or and a half.
We'll see you.
Well, the following
next time.
week.
Yeah,
Next time.
the week
Same
after
bad time.
Same bat week later channel.